Motor skills. You may have been wondering what goes into children's and adolescents' ability to move and perform tasks. You may even be wondering how you can help your child improve their ability to direct their movements so they can complete tasks more efficiently and with more ease. First, let's address what ways movement can be categorized. The ability to move in large and small increments can be described by the terms fine motor skills and gross motor skills. Fine motor skills describe the skill of performing small movements that are utilized in many daily activities, including those done in school. Gross motor skills describe the larger movements of daily activity, which often correlate with the level of athletic skills which a child possesses. Both fine and gross motor skills begin to develop in infancy and continue to develop at great rates until the age of 12. This timeline may vary between individuals, but is accurate to the general population. Why are motor skills so important? Motor skills are a very important factor of physical development and of daily tasks. The development of motor skills is necessary to gain autonomy in childhood. These skills are used to complete chores, maintain hygiene, and for recreational activities. The ability to complete tasks by oneself and efficiently is an invaluable aspect of development, independence in adulthood, and in reducing risk of injury. Some of the milestones that mark the development of motor skills are, for infants around 0 to 1 years old, reaching and gripping. For children around 1 to 3, walking and grabbing. For children ages 3 to 12, riding, running, and playing. And for adolescents 12 to 20, the ability of specialized skills such as drawing and mastering of general movements. If these milestones are achieved late or not at all, they may need some encouragement to improve. Factors that affect motor skills. 4 large factors of how motor skills are developed are nutrition, access to schooling, socioeconomic status, and gender. Nutrients are necessary to keep the body healthy and to provide energy required to be active. Children who are malnourished lack the energy needed to sustain motor skill development. Being at school offers children the opportunity to practice fine motor skills through activities like writing and gross motor skills through activities like games. Socioeconomic status encompasses what nutrients are available, what activities are offered, and what education is available. Gender differences in motor development are due to the physical developmental differences in the body as children age. Gross motor skills. Some examples of gross motor skills in adolescent activities are running, soccer, jump rope or jumping, and activities on wheels such as riding a bike, riding a scooter, and roller skating. Gross motor skills require the coordination of large muscle groups and joints to facilitate exaggerated large movements for mobility, such as the deltoid muscle, which is located in the shoulder and is used for lifting the arm. The cool thing about gross and fine motor skills is that the activities they are used in also improve them. Muscles and joints are strengthened and become easier to use and coordinate. Fine motor skills. Some examples of how adolescents use fine motor skills in an activity are drawing and painting, playing instruments such as the violin, placing small objects precisely like puzzle pieces, and tying shoelaces into bows. Fine motor movement requires precision and accuracy of movement. This is achieved by small muscles and joints, such as those in the hands, including these, which work with the bones and joints to facilitate small movements. Some of the major joints involved in both fine and gross motor skills are the shoulders, elbows, knees, and ankles. However, all 360 joints and most of 600 muscles are needed for mobility and proper development of motor skills. Activity versus inactivity. The level of a child's activity plays a role in the development of motor skills in adolescence. As motor skills are practiced through movement, children who are inactive are at an increased risk of obesity, which is correlated with limited coordination. Inactivity also means that activities that produce improvements in gross motor skills are not being participated in at a level where improvements are made. Active children tend to participate more in activities that produce increased motor skills. Because active children participate in physical activity more frequently, the relationship between the activity and the brain is strengthened, making the activity easier and more enjoyable. Thanks to the process of myelination, the increase in nerve cell insulation that allows electrical impulses to transmit more quickly, as children age and practice activities, it becomes more effortless and natural. How you can help. Parents and guardians can encourage the development of motor skills by facilitating fun activities which require movement, such as games like Capture the Flag for gross motor development. And object organization, puzzles, and writing for fine motor development. Parents and guardians can also encourage healthy eating and school attendance as well. The use of rewards can also make these activities more interesting for children and encourage more frequent participation. Vygotsky's theory. The reason parents and guardians have a role in the development of motor skills, according to Vygotsky, is because the interactions between individuals, their setting, and the support given to them by others play a large role in cognitive development and learning. This is called the socio-cultural theory, the approach that emphasizes how cognitive development proceeds as a result of social interactions between members of culture. Erikson's theory. Erikson's theory of development is broken into 8 stages: trust versus mistrust, autonomy versus shame and doubt, initiative versus guilt, industry versus inferiority, identity versus identity confusion, intimacy versus isolation, generativity versus stagnation, and ego integrity versus despair. The development of motor skills has influence in 4 of these stages, which are associated with childhood and adolescence. The first, autonomy versus shame and doubt, requires that the individual can become sufficient in exploration, which involves gross motor skills. The second, initiative versus guilt, requires the individual to discover new ways to complete actions using both fine and gross motor skills. The third, industry versus inferiority, requires the individual to develop a sense of competence, meaning they feel they can complete tasks well. This would be well-facilitated movement. The fourth, identity versus identity confusion, requires the individual to identify personal qualities and abilities to find their role. Developed motor skills help this by allowing the adolescent to feel confident in their abilities and qualities. Self-perception. Teenagers tend to focus on the things that they excel at. The success that comes from that practice then produces positive self-esteem. Females tend to relate their motor abilities with physical self-perception, while males tend to relate their motor abilities to social competence. Now let's put this information to use. To practice fine motor skills, place the paper clips into a chain. The first person to complete the chain will win a prize.